All right. Welcome to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Here on a beautiful Friday. Hope you guys had an amazing week. Can't wait to give you guys your cool wrestling factoids heading toward the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal to see you guys. Giving you guys the best and the hottest takes in professional wrestling, industry, day and night, every night. And you can always count on your boy E here. Always, always, always. And thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today lined up. We have our WWE Smackdown preview. We're also going to talk about WrestleMania going international, possibly. Still a huge maybe. There's still a lot of speculations concerning the topic in and itself. So we're going to kind of dig a little bit into that. We're also going to talk about our Thursday night wrestling review, talking about what's in the world of National Wrestling Alliance, also in Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling, and Impact Wrestling, of course. Our fourth segment. We're gonna talk about basically everything you need to know about wrestling. And we're gonna end it all off with our fifth segment. We're gonna talk about our wrestling news roundup, where I give you guys everything that's going on in the professional wrestling industry in terms of like breaking news. So just to kind of give you guys something to kind of think about and ponder about in terms of professional wrestling going into the weekend. Or you might run into somebody at a barbecue and be like, "Hey, bro, you watch wrestling?" And you'd be like, "You know what? Yes, yes, I do. I listen to that crazy guy on the YouTube channel of the sports, the GSMC Sports Network in terms of GSMC Wrestling." So yeah, always here to for you guys all the time, day and night. Next, want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link. We get a number of questions that come in from the show from viewers like you. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. Just put your questions up on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to further, elaborate on. Tell me your opinions about wrestling. Tell me what you want the storylines to kind of be. Tell me your predictions. Ultimately, the show is no fun without a little, interaction with you and the fans. Absolutely love you guys 1,010%. It really does help the show, guys. At the GSMC Sports Podcasting Network, we love peace, love, and positivity all the way. So once again, the link is the GSMC podcast.net. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our first segment. We're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about bum, ba, da, bum. We have our WWE Smackdown preview. So, WWE Smackdown is tonight. It actually aired on the East Coast, but I swear to the Lord that I have not checked any social media platforms, any potential spoilers. So, I'm kind of going in raw here, just like you guys. But I have someone here special. We have the GSMC podcast host, the man, the myth, the legend, Nelson.
Hey, what's going on, Eric? I mean, as you guys know, I'm the host for the basketball podcast, and I do gotta say, you have a very solid intro. Good Lord. Like, I need to take notes from you. Goodness me. Like, that's enthusiastic. That was full of entertainment. Like,
Thank you. No,
wow.
it takes up a lot of my beginning time, so I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm just kidding. No,
Like,
definitely.
no, but like that was very good. But yeah, so like you mentioned how like SmackDown already aired over the East Coast. I am East Coast, so I already saw a little bit of SmackDown. I was doing that while I was watching my Knicks lose in basketball, so that was always fun. But
Oh
yeah,
God, I can only
like
imagine, my friend.
I already watched most of the SmackDown highlights and all the things that were going down. Paul's signing, Logan Paul, pardon me. Jake Paul and Logan Paul, I always mix up the two. But yeah, Logan Paul and his signing, like it was a lot more than just a signing. I'm sure you already know that because it's
Oh,
like with
agreed.
WWE,
Absolutely. When he made his way back, when he made his way into the WWE, a lot of people were shocked. A lot of people kind of threw shade on him, be like, "Hey, what is this YouTuber doing here?" Much like when Jake Paul entered the boxing ring, or I think did Jake Paul fight in UFC?
he started boxing first, and
Uh,
like it wasn't really UFC. I don't think it was boxing first, and it was just like it wasn't really like pro boxing,
yeah,
but
no,
it makes a little bit of sense in my opinion because it's like with WWE, like we know there's a lot of things that like unconventionally happen, and it's not really like your conventional type of wrestling. It's more so entertainment, especially
exactly.
now. So I feel like the, him, like while I don't like him, they definitely fit the bill, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, 110%. They're performers. They're great. Like you said before, you can hate them, you can like them. You cannot debate the fact that These guys, the moment they step into a boxing ring or a wrestling ring, they have everyone's attention. Absolutely
Exactly.
110%. Nothing could be taken away from these guys. And, throwing shade at them or not, I respect them 110%.
Whether it be fame or whether it be infamy, it doesn't matter. That's what gets clicks, and that's the important part about the entire thing.
Exactly. My man knows the way the business works. All right,
I
so
mean,
moving
that's
forward,
how it is.
we we have the WWE Smackdown. We're going to talk about it's going to be live tonight in ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. We have, of course, the second round of the women's and the men's Queen and King of the Ring going on. We have Jade Cargill against Nia Jax, two total powerhouses going at it. Of course, the Royal Rumble. You saw Jade Cargill in her debut eliminate the Irresistible Force, which was absolutely impressive. An awesome way to kind of debut there. You can't dispute that Jade Cargill, ever since she came from AEW, has been pretty darn professional. In terms of the Queen and Queen King of the Ring, I kind of had this kind of connection because my boy Nelson is part of the NBA. Part of the basketball podcast, the GSMC. It kind of reminded me of kind of like the in-season tournament here. Like, sure, it's not as big as the NBA playoffs, but you can bet your ass that these participants, if they win or lose, they kind of have a platform. They have a spotlight on them that they can definitely turn some heads and
Do they
potentially.
get incentives? Like, I'm actually curious. I actually have no idea. Do they get incentives, like if they do win
I
in
think they
these?
do, but I think the main reason for, well, what I kind of believed in terms of the King and Queen of the Ring in the WWE, it creates kind of like for them as wrestlers to kind of get better promoted, get better bookings, and potentially land themselves in title shots in like premium live events.
Right.
As a
So that. I guess that's basically like similar to what the play-in does. I mean, apart from the incentives that you get for winning the play-in tournament, and well, not the play-in, the in-season tournament, like mix up the two of them all the time. But like because there's so many like tournaments that just don't mean that much compared to the
Yeah,
championship.
definitely.
But like yeah, it's basically more or less the same team, the same thing minus the incentives because like at least on the basketball side, like a lot of the players that like for example Tyrese Halliburton, he was very good in um in the in-season tournament, but then like towards the rest of the regular season, he wasn't really all that. But it didn't
Right.
matter because once he participated in that in-season tournament, he already got the clicks, he already got the recognition, he already got the all-star
Exactly.
selection, all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of the same thing like that you mentioned about like it's a pretty good parallel if you think about it.
Definitely, 110%. I agree with you. Moving on, so we have Tiffany Stratton, of course, fighting Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match that they're facing for the first time. You have the up-and-comer Stratton against Belair, a grown, kind of like a veteran in terms of the wrestling, the women's division. We have the LA Knight against Tomatonga, Randy Orton against Carmelo Hayes. One thing that I kind of wanted to kind of hint at is that Carmelo Hayes recently brought up from NXT, drafted into the WWE draft. You kind of have this young like swagger to him, kind of like you kind of have these old veterans like Randy Orton, like Cody Rhodes, like Kevin Owens, and you have Carmelo Hayes coming into the fray, into this sort of like a playoff spot, and I don't know, he's proven himself pretty well. And like once again talking about the NBA playoffs, you see young teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder, you also see the Minnesota Timberwolves. How important is it for like a young person or like just someone of young talent to kind of staple their name in terms of like being a number one contender in the NBA, or in my case would be the WWE.
Honestly, like it could really go either way because it's like when you're new to any kind of sport, you always have that leeway of saying that like okay, they're new, they still need that experience. Similar to like what Caitlin Clark is happening like with the WNBA. She's playing rather poorly, but
Mhm,
it's
exactly.
okay because a lot of her fans are like somewhat bubble wrapping her and just saying that it's like okay, like she just still needs time to develop. I mean jumping from like going into the big leagues, that's what I like to call these professional leagues. It's like it's a very big jump and it's not going to happen. It's not everyone is going to get to where they can be and like their best
Yeah,
potential overnight. That's just not going to happen. And I'm trying not to like spoil any of like the things that are going on
I
because I
know. Yeah.
already watched a lot of these. I'm trying very hard
Yeah.
not to spoil things, but like it's good. It's really good. Like the script writers, they did a very good job with this one.
Most definitely. And to kind of finish it off with the WWE Smackdown preview, we have the Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul signing. The main event happening in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. You have the United States champion, the YouTube star, the mega star, Logan Paul going against the American Nightmare, who finished his journey at WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes. Just quickly, just a quick who can you give me a quick little prediction who you think's gonna win?
Mm. Ugh. I like. Well, It's obviously going to be Paul. I'm not even gonna lie. It's going to be him because the scriptwriter, they
Ooh!
always make him win.
Right now.
Always.
That's
Never
on.
fails.
I I cannot dispute, the facts that you are presenting right now.
No, I saw it with my very own eyes at WrestleMania. Like, if you want to talk about it a little bit more, we can do that in like it's the next segment that we're going to talk about WrestleMania, right?
Definitely 1010%. So with that being said,
Yeah.
I want to, just to tell you guys, hey, we're going to take a small little break, but join us. We will be back with the hottest takes in wrestling. And I got my boy Nelson from the basketball podcast from GSMC. So this show's hot. Make sure you don't miss it.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. Segment one, I was joined by my man Nelson from the Basketball Podcast to kind of talk about a little bit about what's going to happen on Monday night on WWE Smackdown. But furthermore, we're going to go ahead and jump on into our next segment. So WrestleMania has been speculated to kind of be heading toward overseas in Saudi Arabia 2025, 2026. WrestleMania is one of the biggest, greatest spectacles in sports entertainment. A lot of the fans seem like they're excited that WWE is going international, much like sports. You see sports going international. You see baseball. Shohei Ohtani is absolutely killing it. You see NBA. You see Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You see all these guys. So honestly, I kind of feel like I'm excited. I'm excited. Any step toward the right direction for WWE. But honestly, I've kind of read reports online. Most fans are actually kind of upset that WrestleMania might be overseas, saying that because during the Vince McMahon era, obviously Vince McMahon recently sold all of his TKO shares, so he has nothing to do with the endeavor. The newly merger between TKO's UFC and the WWE. So a lot of fans upset that they might have to travel across seas, mostly because I feel like WWE has a lot of success overseas. Obviously, you saw WWE Backlash France; it was a hit. You see them in Glasgow, Scotland, and Clash at the Castle; it was a hit. So you see a lot of these fans, and my man Nelson from the GSMC Basketball, podcast, he has been to WrestleMania. So first and foremost, how was it? Got to be honest, I want to know.
Amazing. It was perfect. Like, it was everything that you could have ever dreamed of going. Even though like it was in that disgusting stadium, Philly. I'm a Giants fan, so like that Eagle Stadium, bleh.
No,
But
I
other
feel
than
it.
that,
I feel it.
it was beautiful. And you also completely forgot to mention the NFL, how they go international. They go to Germany. They also go to London to
Oh, exactly.
support.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, yeah, that's right.
But so you were I mean, I'll go into WrestleMania like a little bit later because like I will talk about it, but I also want to talk about my thoughts about this going overseas.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it going overseas. It's just the
Yeah.
place that they chose. Like Saudi Arabia, I'm sorry, that is a terrible spot to start out because Saudi Arabia is known for having incredibly dead crowds and like there's they're the two biggest premium live events each year, and they're going in a dead crowd. Not to
Yes.
mention, in Saudi Arabia, there is a lot of sexism. So there's not going to be there's not going to be any fans watching the women do their wrestling and the women competing because they're all sexist over there. Like that's the majority of the thought process over in Saudi Arabia. And I don't think that's a really good spot to start out.
Right.
And like the only good thing that would come from those events being over there, like it isn't for the viewer. It's mainly for the company getting a lot of money.
True.
Like
Honestly, that's a good take.
and I also like I'm not saying that like everyone there is going to be sexist, but like that place because of the religion, it's predominantly sexist. Like as sad as it is, that's just how it is over there in Saudi Arabia. And I just don't think that's a very good starting point for WrestleMania to take overseas. That's just me, however. I mean, the company's obviously going to make a lot of money because
Yeah.
that's just how it works. So, I mean, I guess for the better of the company, but back onto WrestleMania and oh my God,
Mania.
that was so ridiculous. So many random stuff happened. First of all, John Cena
Yeah.
out of nowhere. I'm just like, just straight up. You hear the theme song, da, 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 and I'm just like,
Uh,
what? Like it was insane. Like, and then he just straight up walked up and started smacking the other dude in
hell yeah.
like it was nobody's business, threw him out of the ring like it was nobody's business, and then body slammed someone like it was nobody's business. Then Speed just pops up out of nowhere
Oh,
in like
yeah,
an
no, I
energy
saw that.
drink.
Yeah.
That was absolutely hilarious. I was like, oh, Speed's barking at the dude, and he's like twice his
Yeah.
size,
I was
and
like, dude, what are you
it
doing, dude?
wasn't gonna end well.
That's
It was so
hilarious.
fun.
Yeah,
And then
WrestleMania
can't
definitely is
can't forget
amazing.
the Undertaker. Can't forget the
Oh
Undertaker.
God. Love Taker.
Just you hear the bell, and I'm just like, oh, the
Ju-
entire stadium just went dark, like straight up dark, and I'm just like, what's happening?
I know.
Where's he at? Where's he coming? Is he behind me? Like it was so awesome.
Was the
I'm still like geeking out about it. It was so cool.
Definitely was the crowd around you super excited on a scale of 1 to 10? How do
Oh,
you think how
oh,
excited they were with
everybody was like 10 shots deep around me. It was beautiful.
dude, that's freaking
Not
awesome.
a single person believed it when the Undertaker just popped up out of nowhere. And like, I mean, we were already shocked when John Cena just went like da 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 da, just
Yes.
popped up out of nowhere. But like the Undertaker, nah, no one expected that. Nobody
Dude, I
expected.
bet that's crazy, dude. Oh, that's an experience. That's what you're gonna tell your grandchildren growing up, bro.
Literally, like that was so cool. And
Yeah,
it's like and then like Speed was definitely the highlight because it was
yeah.
like he just asked for all the trouble. He just asked for the trouble. Like he wasn't even supposed to be in the ring.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. So the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority recently told MMA Hour that we're talking, and this is I quote, he said, we are talking about the future in terms of WrestleMania and even the Royal Rumble. He prolonged and he actually talked about the 10-year deal within the WWE. He said it's going to be a multi-platform partnership. Kind of compared it to the film festivals in Cannes, in France, in Sundance, saying that fans will travel across seas to go to Saudi Arabia to watch. That sounds expensive. That's airfare. You got to
Right?
talk
Like
about
that's
hotels,
a lot of money.
tickets. I don't think, as a WWE, as a WWE fan, honestly, I wouldn't even do it. But no, I'm just kidding. Maybe I would. But like, dude, to be honest, don't you think that's a little expensive? That's a little much, right?
That's way too much. I mean, it's like again, I guess that's sort of like what's to be expected when you're going like
Yeah,
overseas and like
exactly.
trying to expand, but it's like no, like that's a lot of money. Especially like for Saudi Arabia. Maybe they could have picked a place that was a little bit, you know, cheaper to get to. Like
Right.
maybe I don't know, let's say Mexico. Like the NFL does have some games in Mexico as well.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like that could be an option. I don't know. Maybe Toronto. Toronto could be a pretty good option as well.
Yeah,
I
in
know
Canada.
they have a like they do have the Raptors over there and they have that little stadium. They could play over there and they could handle WrestleMania over there. Like
Right.
that's an option. If they want to try expanding it. But I mean like going all the way over to the other side of the world,
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
lot.
Yeah, no, that
It's a
that is
lot of
kind of a
money,
lot.
especially like to start out. But it's wrestling and like the fanatics of wrestling, they're going to go to those events regardless. So it's like they will save up all of their Christmas money
Ooh,
to go over. They will
all in
save up every
Santa's stocking, you know.
Yep, they will save up every single penny that they have just to go overseas and experience. Because and honestly, if you last WrestleMania was so good, like I wouldn't even be surprised if like the other WrestleManias would be just as good like moving forward. I mean, it would be really difficult to top it. Also, I did mention that like we would talk about Logan Paul and like his experience with WrestleMania. He
Yeah.
was cheating. He
Oh,
had
yeah.
brass knuckles in there
Yep, them
in his
brass.
hand.
Yeah.
And then the brass knuckles got swapped with the dude that he was fighting. And
Yeah,
then he ended
that's
up winning by default. And I'm just like, script writers back at it again.
we're back at it again.
He's
Ex-
always going to win. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It was I was infuriated. Like it was just
Yeah.
my jaw dropped because I was like, he had them first. He
Yes,
had them first. They're
he
doing
really
it on
did.
purpose.
And then he ended
Like
up winning the match, which is, kind of cool, obviously, but, kind of capping this, topic off. So obviously you saw The Rock is the chairman of TKO on the board. Obviously, in, him and Paul Levesque, formerly, Triple H, they're kind of in terms of, they're in charge of the creative aspect of the WWE kind of moving forward. The Rock, movie star, thinking big. He's going to bring in a lot of Hollywood influence inside of the WWE. And honestly, in terms of this Queen of the Ring PLE in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, it should be pretty interesting to kind of find out. But before I leave you, Nelson, I kind of have to know one thing, bro. What is your favorite Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, bro?
my favorite Dwayne the Rock Johnson
You
movie.
can say three. I'll give you three.
Oh, that is the most random question. I was not expecting to be asked this question.
It's The Rock, bro.
Um,
If you smell.
okay, but like I can't really name them off the top of my. Oh wait, obviously Fast and Furious. He was in Fast and
Oh, good
Furious.
choice. Good choice.
Those were great. There's also I'm just gonna be a meme and say Moana because I love to sing.
Oh,
I had no idea he could sing. I had no
yeah,
idea
no.
he could
As a
sing.
Disney dad, I love Moana.
Yeah, and so that was a pretty good one. And then there was Hobbs and Shaw. I believe that was one of them, right?
Oh, with Jason Statham, yeah. No, that was a good one. Definitely.
Yes. That those are the three that I can name right now. But it's like I mean he has so many movies. It's
He
really
really
difficult to
does,
name.
dude. It's crazy how big he is in Hollywood, and he came from the WWE.
He's incredibly talented. I mean, same with John Cena. I mean, he's
Oh
also
yeah,
in a
good
lot of
point.
Hollywood
Good
movies
point.
now too.
Good damn point. Nice. Yeah, John
Like
Cena.
that's why like these wrestlers they're Hall of Fame actors. That's
I love
they're
that.
so
That's gonna be. I'm gonna make a segment about that on Monday show. Hall of Fame WWE actors. You know. All right. Well, gotta be honest. Before my man Nelson leaves, I gotta be honest. He did kind of help me with this whole transition into how to forgive, you know, another guest on the show. So I want to give him. I'm showing right now a WWE title. You're the man, bro. Definitely got to check this out. When you watch it, definitely appreciate you. Once again, fans, check out his show. It's a GSMC Basketball Podcast, live every day, Monday through Friday. The NBA playoffs are absolutely heating up. It's getting absolutely crazy. Don't miss out on your chance to get the hottest takes, the best facts, and also just all things NBA with my boy Nelson. So
I'll
Nelson,
also be going to the Liberty game tomorrow as well, and I'm going to be uploading a bunch of videos on like the experience and watching Caitlyn as well. So if any of you guys are interested in that.
wow, that's pretty cool. Oh man, why didn't you say that at the beginning? I kind of want to talk to you about that, but unfortunately,
Because this is a wrestling podcast. I have to
yeah,
talk to you about
that
wrestling. You
yeah,
can't
that
talk
that's
about.
true. That's true. But I love the Liberty. I definitely think that they're going to be contenders.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game yet. So there's a
Oh,
good chance that they could. There is a good chance that they could be contenders, especially with those two women, Sabrina Ionescu and Brink. Those women are ridiculous.
yeah, they're raining buckets. All right, well, Nelson, thank you so much. Have a great night, my man. And yeah, hope you have a good weekend, my brother. Take care.
You too.
All right, that was my boy Nelson. We had, the two segments, absolutely pretty awesome. Got to be honest, I absolutely love this guy. He's, from the inner part of his soul, great, genuine guy. Absolutely watch his show. He's pretty knowledgeable about basketball. He knows his stuff. So, and pretty entertaining and 1,010% entertaining. Love his enthusiasm. Watched a couple of his shows and he taught me a lot. Honestly, taught me a lot. So yeah. So hey guys, honestly, don't go anywhere. We have our Thursday night wrestling news review coming up. So hey, absolutely do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reiterate what we kind of talked about, we had our boy Nelson on from the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We talked about our WWE Smackdown preview. Excuse me. We also talked about our WrestleMania going overseas, possibly to Saudi Arabia. Could be pretty interesting to kind of find out there. But we have our Thursday night wrestling review. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Go and ask some questions. We get a number of questions that come in during the show from viewers like you. So to ensure that your question gets read on air in front of millions of people, remember to use that link. Tell me what you like. Give a positive review, a negative review if you have to. But here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love peace, love, and positivity all the way, 1,010%. And once again, guys, honestly, it really does help the show. The show is a hell of a lot better with you guys interacting into it. I love to hear the voice of the audience, the crowd. Definitely tell me if I'm doing my job right. I can take criticism well. I promise you. I promise you I will only cry for about 10 minutes. Promise. So, yeah, that was talking about the tips and donations link. So let's go ahead and move on. So we have the Ring of Honor. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor first. We got our Ring of Honor television champion, Kyle Fletcher, defeat Montego in a proving ground match. Obviously, we kind of saw this coming recently. Kyle Fletcher has been absolutely impressive during, as of late. He was in that match with on AEW with Bryan Danielson and the Wild Thing, Jon Moxley. He teamed up with Cobbs, and it was pretty intense. It was pretty cool. He was able to hold his own ultimately. Absolutely. One of the main things that I kind of got from that match was Jon Moxley's a badass, but y'all already know that. But also Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is 110%. He's the real deal. Obviously, he has the Ring of Honor Television Championship belt, so there's no doubt in my mind that he will challenge for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, or perhaps maybe he could be an opponent for Swerve Strickland heading toward some of the summer pay-per-views going on. So definitely something cool to check out. We had Jay Lethal and Santam Singh defeat Dark Order, which consists of Evil Uno and John Silver. We also have Anna Jay defeat Tara Zepp. I'm pretty high on Anna Jay. I think she's definitely going to be a contender. Definitely going to be someone that Athena definitely has to take into consideration of just a challenge, just a threat to her Ring of Honor World's Women's Champion. She's the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion. So obviously we need a pretty young, talented, just absolutely riding this wave of momentum, adding Anna Jay to kind of just keep viewers on their toes. Imagine them fighting at the new Supercard. That would be absolutely dope. I would love that. Next we see Sky Blue against she defeated Rachel Ellering. Ellering. I messed that last name up on the last one too. Ellering. Ellering. This whole episode is going to be devoted to me trying to nail down this name. So let's get started. I'm just kidding, man. But Sky Blue came out victorious. Not really much of a surprise because Sky Blue is that damn good. So, she's definitely making a step toward the right direction in either, the Ring of Honor World's Women's Champion. But I think she'll start small and head for the Ring of Honor World Women's Television Champion. I think that's, as of right now, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but that seems like kind of like more, her sauce right now, kind of her cup of tea. Just sometimes you got to start small, much like in the WWE for Raw and SmackDown superstars. They are absolutely banking on winning this king and queen of the ring tournament to kind of propel their career to the next level for a chance to become a champion, get better bookings, promotions, yada, yada, yada. Anything that can help you win and become the main star holding that championship title around their waist. So, every match matters. Absolutely. Next, we have Action Andretti and Darius Martin defeating John Cruz and Levi Knight. We also have Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven. Imagine Matt Damon fighting Born Ultimatum. I'm just kidding, no. And Mike Bennett defeated London Lightning and Jason Geiger in a proving ground match. No surprise there. You have the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions right now. They seem unstoppable. It's gonna be amazing to find out who they're going to fight. Honestly, I would love for just a new tag team to kind of come from the mist. But then again, I don't know. They're pretty darn impressive. So we also have the Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena versus Nicole Matthews in a proving ground match. Ultimately, you guys could, kind of expect what happened. Athena put Matthews in a crossface until the bell rang. And, of course, you saw the Queen, Aminata, come down for the save. Kind of hinting at perhaps a Queen Aminata and an Athena match, heading toward the future. So, yeah. Next, we're going to talk about our, TNA Impact. TNA Impact was absolutely crazy. You had the greatest tag team match in Impact Wrestling history going on. But let's go ahead and get started right here. So, ultimately, you kind of saw they were live in Albany, New York. Zaya Brookside, she lost to Ash by Elegance. Of course, Ash by Elegance, she's, I was surprised that she didn't get a push faster than, kind of like Stephanie Launder. But then again, I think there were speculations and articles saying that she was actually pretty injured. So, next we saw Leon Slater defeat Alan Angels. Kind of what I was talking about in our last podcast, that these two guys are kind of the new blood of the X division, kind of the future. It was kind of cool to kind of see them go out there in the ring, hop around a little bit, show their stamina, their endurance, their agility, their aerodynamics. Absolutely, these guys both, although Angels did lose, I think overall Slater and Allen, they helped themselves. Honestly, they're like, hey, bro, let's get inside the ring. Doesn't really matter who loses because this match is going to be badass. We're going to show promoters, we're going to show everyone in the TNA why we are the future. So definitely love the way that match went. It's pretty good stuff. We had Frankie Kazarian defeating Steve Macklin. Pretty crazy. And we saw a Mike Santana interview with Tom Hannafin. So, yeah, honestly. And then the Champions Challenge match, that was absolutely awesome as hell. It was pretty crazy. Honestly, the Team All-Stars defeats the TNA Champions with the standing ovation from Joe Hendry to Brian Myers. Absolutely pretty crazy. After the celebration, PCO comes out to the ring to Stephanie Launder, and he brings a rose out and and a black bag, and TNA went off the air. But what a romantic that PCO is. Don't you want a man who looks like PCO? I would love a man who looks like PCO. Just kidding, no, but he's I'm sure. It's a lot of heart, He has a good personality. But ultimately, the All-Stars won. kind of knew this was going to happen. Kind of talked about it in my YouTube short that if you would have the TNA champions kind of win this match, it would kind of draw everyone in the other team, the All Stars, kind of dead, so to speak. And it might be a little harsh, but I'm just trying to speak the truth. The reason why they kind of had these TNA All Stars win was most importantly for TNA's Against All Odds. It's going to be a pay-per-view at the end of the month, so you kind of have to book matches for that. This honestly booked up. There was 8 on 8. It booked about, well, you had 2 tag teams, so that's 4 people gone. So you basically now have essentially like 6 matches lined up and ready to go for Against All Odds. So yeah, honestly, this I think TNA did it right, and yeah, definitely looking forward to Against All Odds. Well, guys, don't go anywhere. We're definitely going to talk about our next segment. We have the Ultimate King of the Ring continues. Recently, I narrowed down the Sweet 16 into the Elite 8. So, hey, guys, don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your boy E here with all the cool wrestling factoids into the WWE, Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact Wrestling, yada, yada, yada. But let's go ahead and, first we're going to talk about what we talked about real quick. I had my boy Nelson from the GSMC Basketball Network. We talked about our WWE Smackdown preview. We talked about our WrestleMania going international. We also talked about our I talked about my Thursday Night Wrestling review. So it was pretty dope. Absolutely pretty dope to have Nelson on. But let's go ahead and jump on into this 4th segment. We have the Ultimate King of the Ring in a recent podcast, I think that I did on Tuesday, where I narrowed down. Basically, we had the past 16 winners of the King of the Ring tournament, the Sweet 16, and now we narrowed them down to the Ultimate Elite 8. Before we move on, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net and give me your questions. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to further elaborate on. Most importantly, tell me about, how you think about this Elite 8. Tell me who you think the Ultimate King of the Ring is in history. Of course, within the last, 16 winners. So, take it easy on me. So, let's go ahead and jump on into that is round 2. So we have round 2. We have King Woods. King Woods moved on. Mostly he beat out Baron Corbin because of his enthusiasm and his success with the New Day. I love Xavier Woods. I love the way he's kind of heading toward a character right now. What kind of made me a little upset was that, Karrion Kross approached Kofi Kingston. I don't know if that's kind of foreshadowing, a split between the New Day. Hopefully that never happens because these guys are ultimately better together. So, it's going to be interesting to see who could possibly take down the reigning King of the Ring, Xavier Woods. And, of course, we have Booker T. Oh, man. King Booker. The five-time WCW champion looks to take on Xavier Woods in this Ultimate King of the Ring battle. And I got to be honest, this is a doozy. This is a pretty hardcore doozy because these two superstars are absolutely phenomenal, absolutely insane. Oh, Xavier Woods is so good. But, oh, man, you also have Booker T. So, to be honest, I think the winner of this match, oh, God, it's going to be so hard to pick. Xavier Woods, and we have Booker T. Man, this is tough. So, honestly, I'm going to have to say the winner of this match is going to be... Oh, man. Oh, God. It's so hard. But I'm going to say Booker T. My man Booker T is moving on to the semifinals. My man Booker T. Can you dig it, sucker? Which, it's pretty badass. Absolutely awesome. Sorry for yelling in your guys' ear, but this guy's he's a fucking legend, Mike. He's a fucking legend. All right, next we have Edge, the rated R superstar. Oh god, he ultimately beat out Brock Lesnar because of how success he was. As soon as kind of like he left the tag team at Edge and Christian, everybody kind of thought he was dead in the water, but he was able to win the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, the Royal Rumble twice, and this guy's hot on the market. So who's he going against? Ooh, the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Oh man. Shoots. Kurt Angle isn't actually like, and I'm not trying to throw shade on like Edge because he didn't participate in like actual wrestling and stuff like that. But Edge has a huge, passion for the business, and he's done so well in AEW, Adam Copeland. But Kurt Angle has also done well outside of the WWE, and it's just something that Edge often used, a lot of tactics and Lita, of course, to kind of help cheat to win his matches. But oh man, this is kind of hard. This is kind of hard because both these guys are the definite definition of the ultimate opportunistic person. Edge obviously won, a championship with the Money in the Bank that he won himself, and also that he beat from Ken Kennedy. And but Kurt Angle, you can't ignore Kurt Angle in the ring and outside of the ring. So to be brutally honest, I think the winner of this match would be just basically kind of based on like, both of them kind of had their neck injuries. They both kind of stepped away from WWE. Edge was forced to retire, but I think the winner of this match is going to be the rated R superstar Edge. I think Edge definitely moves on. I can see him definitely being in this final spot. He's in the semifinals against Booker T. Definitely love that. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. We have our next match between Paul Levesque. We have Paul Levesque, the CCO of WWE right now. Interested to kind of find out who he fights against because honestly, out of everything Triple H has accomplished, it's going to be pretty hard. And of course, the guy who's going to fight him is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, an actual feud in and outside of the ring, and also on my podcast. Thank you, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Thank you, Triple H, for making my job a lot harder because both of you guys I absolutely loved in the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin's career was kind of cut short because of his neck injury, but before that, this guy was hot. Man, this guy was absolutely going crazy with his feud with Vince McMahon. Oh man, he won the King of the Ring. He won the WWE Championship. He beat The Undertaker. He beat his accolades before he got injured, and he was forced to. Oh god, whoo! Talk about a hard decision. But honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say the winner of this match is. I'm not trying to play favorites because he's my favorite. Triple H. Triple H is gonna go ahead and move on to the semifinals. And let's see who will meet the guy. So kind of sucks for Stone Cold Steve Austin. My respects to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So we have our final match. We have Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart, definitely one of the best technical wrestlers in WWF/WWE history. He also went to WCW where, he kind of got injured in a match against Goldberg because Goldberg doesn't know how to put on good matchups. So not throwing shit on Goldberg, but it's true. But this guy, Bret Hart, he's definitely had a lot of accomplishments. He's definitely been one of the best submission wrestlers, definitely in terms of tactical wrestling. Love Bret Hart. But the best thing about Bret Hart was if you're the other wrestler, you just know that stepping in the ring with him, he's a professional. He's going to be able to dictate the match really, really well. And I feel like you watch wrestling and sometimes you see botched moves or you see kind of obvious cues that some of the wrestlers are trying to communicate to the other. And you're like, it's a little sloppy. During Bret Hart's matchups, you didn't really see any of that. You saw Bret Hart ultimately taking care of his opponent, taking care of the promotion, taking care of what storyline was being propagated in that moment. So it's going to be hard to fight. It's going to be hard to beat this guy. But we have Sheamus. Love Sheamus. And I hate to kind of have that face that oh, thank God we have Sheamus because I don't have to make another hard decision. That's partially the reason why. I'm just kidding. No. Bret Hart, in terms, against Sheamus. I'm sorry, love the Celtic Warrior, but the winner of this match, and that's going to face Paul Levesque, is going to be Bret the Hitman and Hart. So we have the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be against the Cerebral Assassin, the King of Kings, the best. I'm just kidding. We have Triple H, and then in the semifinals we also have Booker T and Edge. So we have four guys that are limited down to the Ultimate King of the Ring in terms of the last 16 winners. Of course, all perpetuated by my total opinion, but I've watched wrestling long enough to find out how badass these guys, how much physical specimens these guys are, how they push their bodies. They put their bodies on the line day after day to impress you guys as the entertainment. They impress, obviously, it's a job. So you have to kind of impress your coworkers. You have to take care of them like Bret Hart did very, very well. So it's going to be absolutely crazy to find out who wins, who moves on, and who will be the ultimate king of the ring in terms of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. All right. So kind of moving on, we have our fifth and final segment. Every Friday, I like to give you guys my wrestling news roundup. Just something to kind of give you guys to think about and ponder during the weekend. Could strike up a conversation with the person with the wrestling shirt and be like, "Hey, dude, have you heard about this, that, and the other?" And the guy can look at it and be like, "Man, this guy's super cool. Like, let me buy you a beer." So you can get a free beer out of it or a free drink. If you're a girl, maybe you can get a free drink. Like, who knows? Margarita Monday, definitely. I'm good for that. I'm good for that. So, honestly, guys, don't go anywhere. We have our wrestling news roundup on tap. So, I'll miss you guys during this next 10 seconds. All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your boy E here, just kind of reflect on what we talked about. Segment 1, Segment 2, we had our boy Nelson here from the GSMC Basketball Podcast. The NBA playoffs are heating up really, really like now, like right now. So go ahead and, check out some of his podcasts, find out what's going on in the world of basketball. So segment 1, we talked about WWE Friday Night Smackdown preview. Segment 2, we talked about our, WrestleMania going international. Segment 3, we talked about our Thursday Night Wrestling review, what went on in Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. Segment 4, we recently talked about the ultimate King of the Ring within the last 16 winners. We are now down to our final four. So make sure you stay tuned, pay attention, and wait for the next podcast, because the next podcast will determine the ultimate King of the Ring. So, and then they kind of finish us off here always. Every Friday, I like to tell you guys all this wrestling roundup, all the hottest news that's happening in the sports entertainment industry in terms of professional wrestling. So, let's go ahead and let's do this. It's going to be a great weekend. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I have a lot planned for this weekend. So definitely miss you guys. Don't worry. You always on my mind. My Elvis Presley impersonation. What? You don't like it? God. I'm just kidding. Moving on. So our first story, we have Rey Mysterio explains why Dominic Mysterio had ultimately why they had to split. Why did Dominic Mysterio become such a jerk? Why did he become part of the Judgment Day? And Rey Mysterio specifically said because his son was kind of built differently, not like his dad, he had to help his son in any way possible. So ultimately, what's the best way to help out a superstar? What's one of the main storylines that you see as a WWE fan, AEW fan, or just basically under the professional wrestling circuit? What's the number one way that young guys, and Randy Orton's made a killing off of this, the AKA the Legend Killer? What's the one thing that people can do? Attack legends. His father, he's a legend. It was absolute fortunate that his father was a legend. But Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, great chemistry. Obviously, they're freaking son and father. Like, the best chemistry anyone could ever have. But I don't know. It kind of makes a lot of sense. And if you think about it, if Dominic Mysterio wants to be in any big match in terms of any PLEs, in terms of WWE, anytime he can attack his father, creating this another rivalry whenever he wants. It's always open. So with that kind of, open, I think Rey Mysterio, he played pretty well here in this game of chess in terms of how to survive in the professional, wrestling industry. Hey, Ray, checkmate. Pretty badass. So, moving on, we have Tiffany Stratton's controversial social media post. Tiffany Stratton joined SmackDown earlier this year, and she received major backlash based on a video concerning Jade Cargill and a voiceover of hers by Stratton. And I'm not going to go deeper into it because, the language is kind of, don't want to get into that. If you want to learn more about it, check it out on Twitter. Pretty sure you type it in Google, it's going to be probably the first thing that pops up. So I don't know. Is she getting off a little too easy in terms of Paul Levesque? If you kind of had any other superstar that was not promised a bright future, or that WWE wasn't pushing, would they perhaps already be released? Honestly, in my opinion, I think they would have. Which makes me think that they have great things for Tiffany Stratton, and there could be I wouldn't know why you would make a social media post about this, especially how social media nowadays is like absolute mayhem. It's blown way out of proportion, spreading misinformation, false generosities, and also just absolute garbage. Like those who spend hours scrolling on Instagram, I feel you because I get stuck in that too. But sometimes I stop and I'm like, okay, well, we got to take a break here. Those who scroll through Instagram for more than 30 minutes, just, take a little break and watch the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, or watch the GSMC Sports Network. We have basketball with Nelson. We have football with Kenneth. We have Jeremy on sports. We have Samantha, all things women's sports. It's your one-stop shop for women's sports. Come on, what more do you want from us? And it's free. Absolutely free. So, good plug there. But, I don't know. I like Tiffany Stratton. I like the way she's wrestling. I love the way how she's like that heel, but she's like that in your face kind of heel, like I'm better than you. Let's fight about it. If I don't win, I'm going to cheat to win. So it's just losing her would be absolutely detrimental toward WWE in terms of storylines. But I think they would bounce back. I would think they would bounce back, but that's not kind of condoning them to drop Tiffany Stratton. I ultimately think she should have a second chance. But I don't know. It's hard to keep her on the roster despite the issue. Fans had to retweet it to Triple H, Paul Levesque, to kind of show their frustrations, and it's not good. So right now, Tiffany Stratton is in hot water. She's on thin ice. So it's going to be interesting to find out how she winds up in WWE within the next couple of months. Next, we have the Viking Raider Ivar. Viking Raider Ivar has been pronounced injured. He says that he is indeed injured. Like he had to prove it to some of the the Twitter rats and the Twitter trolls and stuff like that. So Ivar, he made a media claim. He said that he addressed Twitter himself /X that there has been a lot of misinformation. Yes, I am injured. Yes, it is serious. So it's I don't know why people would want to because I know there was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of reports saying, and I read this on Ringside News, that Ivar was ultimately taking a break from WWE because of the work he's been doing on WWE NXT and WWE Raw, which I gotta be honest, is It's right. It's the right thing to do. Right now, he kind of made Obafemi kind of defend his championship. He moved from Raw. Right now, he's missing his partner Ivar. Eric. I think him and Eric come back as the Viking Raiders with Valhalla. Both of them rejuvenated in a couple of months. I think it was the ultimately smart decision. If he's injured, obviously hope you well, man. Hope you speedy recovery. If it's not, guess what? I don't think people should be spending too much time on this. If when sometimes wrestlers like Ivar are injured, or taking some time off, they deserve it. They deserve it, and also brings up a lot of opportunities for other stars in terms of NXT. You saw Gallus come back. Obviously there has to be some kind of a so it's like supply and demand. Like one goes down, the other one comes up. It's just business. It's just business. So when Ivar got knocked out, you're like, okay, so now we need another person for the Fatal 4-Way. Let's not make this guy that returned on WWE NXT last Tuesday a participant. And it's going to be pretty awesome. The brawl after the match was absolutely chaos. Absolutely loved it. Hope Ivar is okay. And if, he's not actually injured, I hope you have a pretty good vacation, my guy. Next, we have Asuka. Asuka was pulled from the Queen of the Ring competition. She was honestly my odds-on favorite to win the match. Sad to see her kind of be injured during this all because come on, man, she's the best. The Empress of Tomorrow, definitely, undefeated streak. Who has that? A Money in the Bank winner. She won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Like, this girl is amazing. She's amazing inside and outside of the ring. I found out, for the Mother's Day edition of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast that this girl's a mom too. So she's kicking ass inside and outside of the ring. Love Asuka. Definitely can't wait for her to come back due to a knee injury that was built up for months. Asuka says goodbye to the WWE Universe for now. And I think when she comes back, it's going to be big. It's going to be big, mostly because of her talent, mostly because WWE at this point kind of owes it to her. You saw her drop that belt, her undefeated streak against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, which I didn't necessarily agree with. But ultimately, Asuka says goodbye to WWE for now. And to kind of cap this all off, we have, AEW. So we have Chris Jericho announces an FTW Championship Series. You will see Hook against John Morrison, Katsuyori Shibata against Reyes Romero. We also have Brian Keith against Boulder. All this heading toward a triple threat match to determine who's going to be the number one contender for Chris Jericho's FTW Championship. Probably fighting at Double or Nothing. But this triple threat match will be taken on Dynamite. So tomorrow on Saturday, Collision, you can expect all three of these matches happening. 1,010%. So definitely something to look forward to if you're in the AEW fan boat. If not, check it out. You might find out you like AEW. I definitely had to kind of learn that the hard way because I was like, yeah, dude, I wasn't really, that respectful toward AEW. But when I started watching it, I was like, you know what? This is good. This is some good stuff right here. So definitely have a lot, it's kind of going on here. Absolutely love AEW. It's great. You guys should love it too. But, obviously I'm not going to force something you guys don't want to watch. Watch it. I'm just kidding. No. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show and leave a positive review here at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way. And remember, guys, to follow us on, we invite you guys to follow us on Twitter /X, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And like always, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we have a bunch of other shows. We also have the Andrew Tate Show. We have Sam with baseball. We have TJ with sports. We also have Manny with the Chip Shot Football Podcast. Football's definitely heating up. My boy Kenneth also spitting facts, and we have Nelson on from the GSMC Basketball Podcast. The NBA playoffs are in fact heating up. It's definitely one of the best NBA playoffs I've seen in a long time. You kind of have these young guys trying to take the torch from some of these older guys. This NBA playoffs is definitely a monumental standard in terms of the National Basketball Association. So Adam Silver should definitely kind of, pay attention to that and be like, hey, maybe we need to market these new guys a little bit different. But once again, guys, thank you for tuning into my show. Have a lovely weekend. Absolutely will be thinking about you guys. Saturday, I'm looking to graduate. I have a graduation ceremony, got my kids going, got them signs that says daddy's the best, all that stuff like that. So, got a lot of good things. Definitely blessed. Hope you guys have a blessed weekend as well. Definitely love you guys. And I'll see you on Monday.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.